Previously, Kaguya sacrificed his life while trying to protect two girls from a dangerous robber. However, he found himself reincarnated in a magical world as Cain, a noble belonging to a respected family. Cain's memories from his previous life remained intact, making him seem like a genius in his family's eyes. His blessings were further amplified during his baptism ceremony at the age of 5, where the gods bestowed upon him incredible powers and abilities. Despite his family's warnings to keep his exceptional abilities hidden, Cain had a burning desire to become an adventurer. The story continues as the peculiar man informs Cain that Zenom and the other deities have already briefed him on the current situation. Cain is taken aback to discover that he has encountered the gods themselves. To Cain's astonishment, the enigmatic man reveals himself as Yuya, the very first king. This revelation further astounds Cain. However, Cain informs him that he has read a book about Yuya's mastery of emperor-level magic, which adds to his excitement. Yet, his elation turns into worry and trepidation upon realizing that the book was written 300 years ago, leading him to suspect that he may be conversing with a ghost. In an attempt to confirm his suspicion, he quickly peeks under to check if Yuya has legs. Amused by Cain's action, the first king playfully suggests that he use his appraisal skill to verify. Cain complies and is astonished to discover that Yuya is, in fact, a god of creation. The first king divulges that they are currently in a world he personally created called Fabrinil, where he exists as a god, impervious to the passage of time, which explains his eternally youthful appearance. With the introductions completed, the conversation steers toward the reason for Cain's summoning into this world. Yuya discloses that the gods have entrusted him with the task of training Cain. Perplexed by this revelation, Cain expresses his confusion, as he is already struggling due to his overwhelming strength. Yuya doesn't dispute his point and simply challenges Cain to take a cookie from him. Acting swiftly, Cain makes a move for the treat, only to be effortlessly countered with a sword pressed against his throat. The first king bluntly asserts that Cain still has a long way to go. Cain comprehends the truth in Yuya's words, yet he remains unaware of why he needs to attain such immense power. Yuya enlightens him, explaining that it is because he must confront the malevolent deity known as Aaron, who, 300 years ago, plunged the world into chaos by sowing seeds of discord among nations, leading them to fight and destroy one another using an oracle of distrust. Yuya and his companions successfully sealed him away. However, the seal has recently begun to weaken, posing a threat of his resurrection and the reemergence of war in the land. As a god from a different world, Yuya is unable to intervene this time, leaving the task in Cain's hands. Teasing Cain with a tantalizing revelation, Yuya informs him that certain events from his previous life are intertwined with the unfolding story. Eager to learn more, Cain springs up, but Yuya swiftly takes hold of him and transports him to the ocean, placing a sword in his hands. He declares himself as Cain's official teacher, promising to unveil the connections once the task is accomplished. Handing Cain a compass, Yuya instructs him to keep moving in the indicated direction, assuring him that it will lead him back to the mansion. This journey will not only help him increase his level but also elevate his chances of success. Yuya explains that in his world, Cain currently resides at the lower middle level and must reach at least level 600 to stand a chance against Aaron. Feeling a bit stressed, as Cain is currently at level 300, he realizes that it will take time to reach the required level. To add further challenge, Yuya prohibits Cain from using his teleport skill. Worried about his school, Cain expresses his concerns. In response, Yuya reassures him that 1 year in Fabrinil is equivalent to 1 day in his world, alleviating Cain's worries. Cain receives a solemn message from Yuya that only success or defeat awaits him. Motivated by this realization, Cain dashes into the forest and swiftly eliminates a giant snake and other creatures, displaying a strong start. Surprisingly, only 5 minutes have elapsed since he embarked on his journey in the other world. Meanwhile, Sylvia eagerly rushes to the door, hoping for Cain's return. However, instead of Cain, Princess Celestia and Ms. Silk, accompanied by their guards, stand before Sylvia, wearing worried expressions. The maid apologizes, explaining her mistaken assumption that Cain had arrived. Disappointed, the girls had been anticipating his return, but Sylvia informs them that he hasn't been seen since the previous day. Panic sets in as the maid speculates that Cain may have encountered some sort of incident. Silk starts to enter a state of hysteria as the possible scenarios are listed. However, the princess calms them down, reminding them of who they are talking about. Confidently, she proceeds into the mansion to await her fiancé's arrival, with Silk following suit. In Fabrinil, Cain faces difficulties as he gets captured by a monster, but he manages to defeat it with a single strike. Yuya, drained of energy, remains where the monster dropped him, beginning to doubt his ability to escape the forest. It is revealed that he has suffered from sleep deprivation due to consistent attacks over the past month, but his thoughts are interrupted. Upon hearing the cries of a creature, Cain's instinct compels him to respond, dragging his sword towards the sound. He discovers a young injured Fenrir and initially considers ending its suffering. However, his instincts urge him to protect it, triggering flashbacks of his past experiences helping others. Apologizing for frightening the creature, he attempts to heal it with a restorative spell, despite his depleted magic. Exhausting his remaining magical reserves, he manages to heal the Fenrir before collapsing himself. Throughout his unconscious state, the creature fiercely defends him against any monsters attempting to harm him. When Cain eventually regains consciousness, he finds the defeated monsters surrounding him. Touched by the creature's protective actions, he and the Fenrir become companions as the animal jumps onto him. Naming the creature Haku, Cain embarks on the rest of his journey, fighting and sharing meals with his newfound partner. This companionship significantly alters his perspective, redirecting his focus towards what truly matters. Eventually, an older Cain and Haku reach the mansion after a considerable passage of time. Yuya senses Cain's presence outside and warmly welcomes him as he opens the door. The first king immediately remarks on Cain's remarkable growth. Unsurprised by the passing years, Cain inquires about the duration since he was abandoned at the shore. His teacher reveals that 4 long years have transpired. Noticing the Fenrir, Yuya identifies it as a holy beast and advises Cain to form a contract with it. Trusting the noble, Yuya promptly facilitates the contract, causing the Fenrir to vanish unexpectedly. The first king further explains that Cain can summon Haku at any time using a specific command. He also warns him that his training is not yet complete and introduces his next teacher, Doran. With formal introductions exchanged, Cain meets the elf instructor. Before departing, he reminds Yuya of the promise to reveal more about Eren and its connection to his previous life. Yuya agrees. Scene changes. Cain and Doran find themselves engaged in a fierce battle. Doran admits that his current strength is insufficient to defeat Cain. Determined, Cain gathers his strength and throws a punch, but he is swiftly overwhelmed by Doran's powerful uppercut. When Cain regains consciousness, he finds himself in an unfamiliar room, gazing at an unfamiliar ceiling. As he descends the stairs, a woman introduces herself as Ruri, Doran's wife, and warmly welcomes Cain into their home. Suddenly, Cain notices a young dragon, sparking his excitement as he eagerly befriends the creature. However, Haku, feeling jealous, threatens the dragon, causing it to fly away in anger. Ruri scolds Haku, and with a smile, she presents breakfast to Cain. Unable to contain his hunger, Cain devours the food while shedding tears of joy. Doran asks if he dislikes the food, but Cain's repeated expressions of delight assure him otherwise. Cain's praise brings happiness to Ruri, and he wonders about the food his loved ones prepare. Meanwhile, Silk can be seen with a worried expression, working with the others to make dough. Telestia encourages her and suggests trusting the knights to locate Cain, instilling hope in Silk. Sylvia reprimands their baking efforts and urges them to prepare food for Cain, eliciting a sense of duty in them. Back in the midst of their training, Doran knocks Cain unconscious, yet Cain persists in attempting to launch a counterattack. After returning home, Cain collapses from exhaustion. The dragon continues to ignore their presence. 1 year passes, and after enduring beatings from Doran encourages Cain to push beyond his limits. Frustrated, Cain rises to his feet when suddenly he recalls a conversation with Yuya, during which Yuya revealed that Eren was the god of games. Cain is astonished to learn about the existence of an 8th god, and Yuya explains that the absence of entertainment is a result of Eren being sealed. In the past, Eren utilized the Oracle to create deadly games, ultimately leading to his exile from the world of gods. However, his impending return poses a significant threat. Worried, Yuya orders Cain to become stronger, invoking his previous words. Cain charges towards Doran with determination. In the midst of their exchange, Yuya observes them. Yuya stands in front of 3 graves, revealing to his friends the graves of Cain's parents, Seiya and Megumi, whom he couldn't protect. Cain feels a profound shock. In the past, his parents had worried about him after their accident. He also complains to Marine, the one who summoned them. After she explains the situation, Marine allows the 3 of them to escape while urging them to investigate the anomalies in the world. Afterward, Zenom explains the danger posed by Eren and asks the 3 of them to defeat him, providing them with a crystal ball. They embark on a battle against Eren. As Eren grows irritated, he releases an attack that hits their companions. Suddenly, Megumi protects Marine. Seiya yells upon seeing his injured wife. After she falls, Marine desperately tries to heal her. However, her power proves insufficient. Eren smiles madly, and as a result, Seiya charges at him, unleashing his overwhelming power. After getting stabbed, he disrupts Eren's movements, signaling Yuya to seal him. Right after, Cain punches the crystal ball toward Eren's face, sealing him. Filled with emotions, Cain attacks Doran while vividly recalling his parents' final moments. Suddenly, he employs the same skill as his father, ultimately destroying Doran's sword. Cain points his sword towards Doran, who concedes defeat, signifying the completion of their training. Cain expresses his gratitude and rushes to his parents' graves, where he sees Yuya kneeling. As he approaches, Yuya reveals that Cain's parents desperately searched for a way back. Cain cries as he thanks them. Then he goes to another grave and Yuya reveals a cookie, which Cain finally grabs from him. Afterward, he thanks Yuya for the training. As a result, Yuya invites him to drink coffee, but Cain refuses, longing to return immediately. However, Yuya stops him, reminding him of his appearance. In his shocked state, Yuya reverts Cain to his original form. Afterwards, Kane summons Haku when suddenly Doran appears and suggests bringing the dragon Jin too. Before he leaves, Yuya hands him a sword. Yuya and Doran smile, hoping that Kane will become stronger than them. Finally, Kane teleports back. Upon seeing him, Sylvia cries and she and the others run toward Kane, embracing him. In their reunion, Telestia and Silk present the cookies they made. Kane cries as he gobbles them up. As his fiancées welcome him, Kane declares that he's back. However, Telestia and Silk still make him apologize for worrying them. The story continues. Kane meets the king and shares his encounter with Yuya in a different world. The king finds it difficult to believe at first, but Kane provides evidence by showcasing the sword gifted to him by Yuya. Instantly recognizing the sword, they come to believe Kane's story. As the king reads a letter from Yuya, he becomes aware that Kane had undergone training under him. Kane proceeds to recount the arduous nature of his training, including being left in a forest teeming with vicious monsters and enduring daily beatings for 5 long years. The king is taken aback, pondering how Kane endured such training for such a prolonged period. Meanwhile, the Duke finds Kane's tale rather amusing, seeing it as the norm for him. In the midst of their conversation, the Duke mentions that during Kane's absence, the guild had been searching for him. Since he hadn't taken any quests after achieving his rank, there was a possibility that his registration might need to be cancelled. Worried upon hearing this, Kane rushes to the guild to address the matter. He meets with the guild master, seeking clarification, and the master explains that when Kane was promoted to his rank, he was informed that he would need to subdue a group of bandits. Kane mentions his busy schedule at the academy, but the master informs him that there is a time limit for completing the quest, otherwise, his registration would indeed be revoked, leaving him with no other options. Accepting the situation immediately, Kane receives information from the master about a troublesome bandit group plaguing the road leading to the capital. The master estimates there are approximately 10 bandits in the group, expressing confidence in Kane's abilities as the strongest individual in the city. Utilizing teleportation to reach the road, Kane casts a flying spell, enabling him to search for the bandits from a vantage point above. As he surveys the area, he spots the bandits attempting to rob a carriage, prompting him to swiftly intervene. However, to his surprise, he soon realizes that his adversaries are none other than his own tutors. Nina and Millie undertake the task of escorting a carriage, with their client being Palma's father. Observing that Millie has sustained an injury, Kane swiftly employs his magical abilities to heal her. The bandits, however, dismiss him as a mere child and burst into laughter. Undeterred, Kane prepares to exact retribution for their actions. As the bandits charge towards him, Kane effortlessly defeats them with minimal physical contact. One of the bandits lunges at him, only to be sent flying by Kane's powerful strike. He proceeds to subdue the remaining bandits, all the while expressing the challenge of restraining his immense strength. The girls, Nina and Millie, marvel at his extraordinary prowess, finding him incredibly formidable. With all the bandits apprehended, Millie wonders why Kane appeared so suddenly. Kane explains that he was simply on a subjugation quest, which leaves the girls astonished. Subjugation quests are typically reserved for adventurers with the rank of C or higher, and Kane had only recently registered. Kane reveals that he has already achieved a higher rank, skipping over the C and B ranks, leaving the girls astounded. The bandits are then taken back to town, secured within a cage, while the group proceeds to Temoy's item shop to drop off Palma's father. Palma emerges, filled with joy upon seeing her father, and expresses her delight in seeing Kane. She is surprised by the presence of the bandits and reflects on how it's their day off from school, yet Kane is tirelessly working. Palma speculates that, as a baron, Kane must be occupied with numerous responsibilities. Millie, taken aback by his promotion, contemplates whether she should adopt a more formal demeanor towards him. However, Kane reassures them that he will always consider them his mentors and encourages them to address him by his name. Millie acknowledges his remarkable growth, recognizing his newfound maturity. As Kane slips away, stating the need to report to the guild, the girls chase after him, eager to accompany him. Kane visits the guild to complete his quest, surprising Tia with his swift completion. As Tia is about to inform the guild master, a group of adventurers begins to harass the two girls. Determined to ignore the troublemakers, the girls face an imminent threat when one of the men attempts to grab Millie. Kane swiftly intervenes, preventing the man from laying a hand on her. Recognizing Kane, the men become filled with terror, recalling a previous encounter with him and quickly retreat to the ground. Claude appears on the scene, curious about the commotion, and is delighted to see Kane. The thugs hastily flee as Claude expresses his surprise at their encounter. Millie reveals an astonishing revelation: they are, in fact, siblings. Kane is taken aback by this incredible coincidence, and the group decides to enjoy some drinks together. Claude wonders about the circumstances that brought them together, and Millie explains how Kane came to their rescue, effortlessly defeating the bandits. The conversation takes an unexpected turn as Kane mentions his impressive rank of A. Claude is astonished, considering it has only been a few days since Kane registered. He recalls their previous mock fight and realizes that Kane was able to keep up with him. Millie, curious about Kane's extraordinary strength, inadvertently causes him to panic, as he cannot disclose the fact that he was trained by gods. However, Millie recalls a childhood memory of Cain single-handedly defeating a red dragon, leading her to believe that he has always possessed such immense power. Claude is awestruck, recognizing that red dragons are classified as SS-rank creatures. The girls proudly display the magic bags that Cain created for them. Lena, intrigued, demands to know the bag's capacity, to which Millie admits she isn't certain, as she has never managed to fill it entirely. She does mention that Cain once claimed it could hold an entire mansion. Lena becomes envious, speculating that the bags may be national treasure items. She playfully pesters Cain, eventually leading him to promise to create one for her as well, earning her gratitude. In a lighthearted moment, Lena ends up falling asleep, and Claude reveals her tendency to be a lightweight when it comes to alcohol. Cain suddenly realizes that he has missed an entire week of school and resolves to make sure he doesn't miss any more classes. Claude, puzzled by Cain's dedication to schooling despite being a baron, questions his decision. Cain explains that there is still much he doesn't know. Lena admires Cain's commitment and offers him a hug, but he swiftly runs off, eager to get back to his studies. Just then, Tia appears and mentions that the adventurer who was meant to teach at the academy got injured. Intrigued, Claude expresses his desire to assist Cain in any way he can. The following day at the academy, Cain attends his magic class, where students practice casting spells on targets. Cain becomes enthusiastic, eager to try out the new spells he learned from Yuuya. However, the teacher reprimands him, reminding him that he is not allowed to use any attacking spells. The teacher recalls how even when Cain used beginner magic in the past, he managed to destroy the academy's protective barrier. Cain is astonished by the reminder, while his friends observe from afar, sensing that he doesn't quite fit in with the rest of the class. They devise a plan to lend him a helping hand. In Cain's adventuring class, the teacher announces that their regular instructor has been injured and introduces Claude and the others as guest instructors for the day. The students recognize Claude and Lena, and Claude begins by requesting that all the students present their guild cards. It becomes apparent that all the students possess bronze cards, indicating their recent registration. Claude intends for Cain to display his gold card, but Cain believes it would only further isolate him from his peers, so he pretends to have forgotten his card. The class moves outdoors, and Claude proceeds to train the students one by one. Cain eagerly anticipates finally being able to showcase his abilities. However, Claude focuses on sparring with the other students instead, seemingly ignoring and isolating Cain. Unbeknownst to Cain, this is all part of Claude's plan. They aim to demonstrate their strength to the other students first. Once Cain proves he can keep up with Claude, the other students will be impressed by his prowess, and he will emerge as the hero of the class. Cain grows increasingly anxious as he waits for his turn. Another student advises him to get in line. Claude defeats each student in combat until Cain is the last one remaining. They engage in a fight, but just as they begin, the bell rings, signaling the end of the session. Their teacher intervenes, announcing that time is up. Cain feels disappointed that he didn't get a chance to spar with Claude, but Claude apologizes for the timing mishap. Claude assures Cain that they will have another opportunity to spar in the future. However, Cain's teacher intervenes, mentioning the school's financial constraints. The budget does not allow for inviting Claude again, as a significant portion of the funds had been allocated to repairing the wall and barrier that Cain had inadvertently destroyed. All the students express their gratitude for the training, but Cain feels devastated that he didn't get a chance to participate. Feeling frustrated, Cain becomes enraged and embarks on a rampage through the forest at night. In the midst of his fury, he encounters a dragon. With a single powerful slash, he swiftly defeats the creature and then uses a powerful spell causing fire to rain down on the forest and resulting in a massive explosion. The guards, mistaking the commotion for an attack by the Demon King, sound the alarm. They quickly mobilize to investigate the situation. After venting his anger and calming down, Cain teleports back home, unintentionally leaving behind his handkerchief. When his father arrives at the scene, he is shocked to find an enormous hole and discovers the abandoned handkerchief. The following day, Cain receives a summons from the king, who informs him of his father's findings. The king suggests that the incident may be the work of the Demon King and contemplates the need to contact other countries for preparations. However, Cain chooses to confess, admitting that he was responsible for the chaos. The king reprimands him for his actions. Within the depths of the forest, a black dragon feasts upon a goblin. The dragon is revealed to be Aaron, whose once tightly sealed powers have now begun to loosen. Sensing this newfound strength, Aaron issues a warning to the gods, advising them to patiently await his full powers return. Upon returning home, Cain's father also lectures him sternly. Despite his father's scolding, Cain continues to apologize, deeply regretting the consequences of his actions. This brings an end to our episode. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to subscribe our channel, aniexplainer.